My clock says it's 6:01, so good evening, everyone, and welcome to what is intended to be the final hearing of the 2021 Redistricting Commission. We appreciate those who have joined us tonight. Dr. Phillips, can you do a roll call for us to get us started?
Yes, Chair Morris. So I'll start with the first District Commissioner Trotsky.
Present.
First District Commissioner Twibell.
Present.
Second District Commissioner McClintock is absent. He let us know. Second District Commissioner and Vice Chair Turley.
Present.
The third District Commissioner Lee.
Present.
Third District Commissioner Kasif.
Present.
Fourth District Commissioner Bray.
Present.
Fourth District Commissioner Ochoa.
Present.
Fifth District Commissioner and Chair Morris.
Present.
Fifth District Commissioner Hartman.
Present.
Member at Large Rios.
Present.
Very well. Thank you, Dr. Phillips. I also want to acknowledge we have a number of folks from our consulting and support teams from NDC and our attorneys in the county. So we're grateful for everybody to be here. We also have translation available. Carlos, welcome back. And Dr. Phillips, you want to explain to folks, in case anybody needs or wants to access the Spanish channel, how they do that again? It's been a while.
Yeah, I think I'll let Carlos give the instructions there because he's experienced and can do it in both languages.
Excellent. Carlos, are you there?
I believe he's on the Spanish channel. So if he switched over to, or maybe if we all switched over to the English channel, then we'll be able to hear him. So if Carlos, you could switch to the English channel and give the instructions there and then do the, yeah. Thank you.
Do we have Carlos?
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your assistance on this. All right, so by way of our informational items, again, would point people to the website, drawsantabarbaracounty.org for Commissioner ex parte communications. And then the first item we need to tackle, folks, is I need a motion or a discussion, if there is any, to authorize the use of this teleconferencing approach for our meetings. We're in a period now where the state law requires us to reaffirm our intent to do this from time to time. So if there's no discussion, I'd take a motion from a member of the commission to authorize the use of teleconferencing.
So moved.
I have a motion from Commissioner Bray, and it looks like a second from Commissioner Rios. Thank you very much. Dr. Phillips.
All right, so Commissioner Trotsky.
Aye.
Commissioner Twibell.
Aye.
Commissioner Turley.
Aye.
Commissioner Bradley.
Aye.
Commissioner Kasif.
Aye.
Commissioner Bray.
Aye.
Commissioner Ochoa.
Aye.
Commissioner Morris.
Aye.
Commissioner Hartman.
Aye.
Commissioner Rios.
Aye.
Very well. All right, item agenda number 3, and really the purpose for tonight's meeting is to accept and file a report of the commission's post-cycle review and recommendations. I thought what I'd do is just give a quick background on how we got to this and what the intent was. Hopefully everybody has had a chance to read it, both commissioners as well as those who are joining us from the public. And we'll take some discussion and public comment after we do a quick overview of this item. for tonight. So following the completion of our work in late December, early January, we determined that it was important to capture lessons learned and suggested improvements to the cycle for the record, so that those lucky souls who are chosen to do this in 9.5 years would be able to improve on our experience, right? And so we published a public survey that was distributed through the county's normal methods, and also to individuals who had engaged with the redistricting process. That was done in, I believe, early February, late January, early February. And then that survey asked a number of questions about their experience and asked for feedback about how the process could be improved. A subcommittee of the commission, which included Commissioners Trotsky, Tribell, Turley, McClintock, and myself, kind of took all of that data and tried to organize it into something that would be, fairly easy to follow. After we'd gotten the public comment, the commissioners were asked to then add their feedback. And again, we tried to organize those two sets of inputs into the two documents that you see posted on the website. The first is it's called the SBC CERC Post-Cycle Review and Recommendations. This would be the lessons and the takeaways, if you will. And then the second document is literally just all of the responses that we received kind of as we got them, right? Without any effort or attempt on our part to edit or filter those in any way. So that's kind of how we got to where we are today. I think it's important at this point to just make it clear. I think everybody understands this, but I think it's important to just point out that the commission has no authority to change any of the ordinance or to mandate changes in procedure or processes for future commissions to use. Our best effort is simply to gather that information, capture it, organize it into a document, and then file it with the county so that the Board of Supervisors or any other interested citizen or citizens can pull from that information and recommend whatever changes they choose to recommend ultimately to the voters, since the voters are the ones that approved enacted Measure G in the first place. So that's really our intent tonight, is to review these suggestions and recommendations and accept that report and file it with the County Board of Supervisors, where it will become part of the record. From a process standpoint, I would note that any public comment, and we've had one written comment which was posted on the website, and then any verbal comments that are made by members of the public this evening will be recorded and will be appended to this report as an attachment. We do not intend to come back another time at this point and accept all of those formally into it, where that would become something of a circular exercise that may never end. So our intent from a process is to accept the report as drafted or as edited tonight by the commissioners, and then append to that any comments that we receive from our friends in the public that will just be added to the record. So with that, I'm going to stop and just ask if there are any questions from the commissioners before we open it up for public comment. And then when the public's had their chance, we'll bring it back for discussion and action by the commission. But before we go to that, are any questions about process or what we're trying to do tonight? All right. Seeing none, we will turn our ears and eyes to those who have joined us. It looks like we have 7 of our friends with us on the webinar this evening. And what I would ask is that those who wish to speak follow Dr. Heller's example and use the raise your hand button. And Dr. Phillips will introduce you in turn, and we will take your comments in turn. So with that, Dr. Phillips. I think Dr. Heller is our first speaker, and so far the only one with their hand raised, but I don't think that'll stay the case for the whole evening. So let's start with Dr. Heller.
Chair Morris, are we enforcing any sort of time limit, or are we allowing?
Well,
that?
let's shoot for 3 minutes, but you know, we'll be a little reasonable.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'll admit Dr. Heller now.
Good to see you all, Chair Morris and commissioners. Promise you I won't take 3 minutes, not even close, as I never take the full time. And let's also point out that since you cannot take action on what we discussed tonight, having anybody harangue you for any length of time really doesn't make sense. So my comment is really to thank you. I read the summary of comments, and I think you all did a great job of identifying the key process challenges that should be addressed going forward, as well as offering some really thoughtful solutions. Some of the biggest challenges are around things like, should there be alternates for each commissioner? And that's something I've been kicking around trying to figure out how to make that work, particularly if you're looking for parity and replacement. So these are all things that require some thought. The good news is we have some time before a new ballot initiative needs to be floated. Certainly one's not going to happen in this election cycle. So again, I just want to thank you. I also took a look at the comments that you managed to boil down, and they were all over the map, and sometimes completely contradictory within the same commenter. So again, I appreciate your patience, your effort, all the work you put into this. And I think the outcome of this whole process is really something that you should all be proud of, and that I am grateful to have been a part of. Thank you.
Thank you.
The only other hand we have up right now is Lawanda Lyons-Pruitt.
Good evening, Ms. Lyons-Pruitt. How are you?
Good evening, Chair Morris. Excuse me, suffering from a little bit of asthma these days, with the wind blowing the way it has. But so good to see everyone this evening. And like Ms. Heller, I will not be that long. I would also like to thank each of you for your work, as well as the very good. I'm really impressed with the report on recommendations to improve the process. I wholeheartedly agree. As you all will recall, when we came before you for the first time, we were upset because we did not feel that the initial round pool of candidates drawn were reflective of the community, particularly when you're looking at diversity. And thank you for all the effort that each of you made to balance that out. It was really challenging. I realized that, but some of the things that are pointed out in the report, for instance, like the alternate and whether they should be of the same party affiliation, those were all the things that we were thinking of, and I totally agree. Again, we thank you for your time. Thank you for the reflections, the survey, and look forward to seeing what happened in the future.
Thank you, ma'am.
And we have no more hands raised.
All right, let's give them one more shot. Anybody else want to take a moment while you're here? All right, well, then we will close public comment and bring this back to the commission for any discussion or reflection or comments about the report. Who wants to go first? Preferably not all at the same time. Commissioner Twibell.
I think the report reflects, we listened to the public during our time as commissioners. And when we reviewed it, I think a lot of the commissioners had the same ideas about what we needed to change. So I just want to thank everybody for all their ideas. And I think the report reflects the needed changes. So thank you.
Commissioner Turley.
I just wanted to thank Gianna Magnoli, who's on this call, for her incredibly thoughtful and detailed public comment. I hope that that is part of our record. I thought that she brought up some points that weren't included in the report that I strongly agreed with. So again, thank you all members of the public for being part of this process, and for everyone who filled out the survey or provided feedback in another capacity. I know that this is sort of going to be an ongoing conversation. And I really appreciate all of the different points of view and suggestions for improvements.
Very good. Yes, and that written comment will be added to the record. Anybody else? Commissioner Bradley, you got nothing?
I'm afraid not. Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
All right. Very well. Well, folks, if there's no other discussion, I think the motion we'd be looking for would be to accept and file the report with the Board of Supervisors. Is there someone who'd like to? Oh, Commissioner Trusky's hand went up.
Make a motion that we accept the report and file it.
Very well. Is there a second? Commissioner Turley, is that why you're raising your hand? All right, we got a motion and a second there. Dr. Phillips, I think we're back to you.
All right. Commissioner Trusky,
Aye.
Commissioner Twibell,
Aye.
Commissioner McClintock is absent. Commissioner Turley,
Aye.
Commissioner Bradley,
Aye.
Commissioner Kasich,
Aye.
Commissioner Bray,
Aye.
Commissioner Ochoa.
Aye.
Commissioner Morris,
Aye.
Commissioner Hartman,
Aye.
Commissioner Rios.
Aye.
So I think it ought to be noted that two important things happened this evening. One, we've continued our tradition of unanimous votes, and two, we know how to run a shorter meeting than people may have thought. Before we adjourn, I will open it here in just a moment for any general comments, but Dr. Johnson, Ms. Orton, any comments from either of you? Ms. Anderson as well?
Just one comment. Thank you for having me be a part of this process. I agree that it was a really successful part of cooperation, not only with the commissioners, among the commissioners, many of whom had very different points of view, but with the public. And it was an honor to be a part of it.
Yeah, and I would just say, not only were you the first commission, but you were also clearly under the craziest circumstances with the COVID delays and everything like that. So so kudos to everyone, and thank you all to everyone. And I will note, you probably don't even remember it because you've been through so much since then, but we did start this with the chair of the Arizona and California Commission speaking with you. And that is, we've always found that a very handy kind of setting the ground expectations speech. So in about 9 years, expect to be hearing from the next commission. And I think given your role is really the first locally created county redistricting commission in the state, I expect other counties will be trying to follow this model and may very well be calling you in 8 or 9 years to say, will you come speak to our commission? When their commissions will have a full 12 to 14 months to do this process instead of 2. So thank you all, and expect to hear from us and from other redistricting groups in a few years.
Fair warning. Ms. Anderson.
Yeah, I just want to echo the thank you. This was a huge time commitment for everyone, and the first time around for all of us in this process, and it worked. There are things to improve upon clearly, and we certainly look forward to taking your feedback and the public's feedback and seeing what can be done. There are things that we as staff identified too that I think will make the process better in 10 years. And once this, your report gets filed with the Board of Supervisors, we'll be taking that, and the board is looking for a staff report in the future as well, so that we can fix and modify and provide some recommendations that are feasible and within their purview. So thank you again, everyone. And I would agree with Doug. I've already been contacted with multiple other counties looking for, how it went, what the budget was, and those types of questions. So it is certainly something that we can be proud to have started, and certainly is going to be expanded upon throughout the state. Thank you.
Yeah, Commissioner Bradley, I see your hand up, but just real quickly, Ms. Anderson, before you get too far from your mic, I know there was some questions among a couple of the commissioners about the financial disclosures process. Can you just thumbnail that for us really fast so that folks know what to expect and when they should be paying attention?
You know what we'll see, and I think what you're referring to are the Form 700 forms. And, I'll have to circle back with Andrea. I know we got some, there is a 10-year, obviously, process that we have to maintain information on our website and those types of things, but we'll get something out to everyone just to reconfirm really what the process is for those Form 700s.
Great, I think that'll help. Commissioner Bradley.
I have a question for staff and council. Now that we've passed this milestone, some of us post-map, our new map, find ourselves no longer in the districts where we were. So for example, although I am designated 3rd district commissioner, I'm no longer in the 3rd district. I'm now in the 4th. I wondered if we could get a update on the status of things going forward. Do we need to rearrange our district positions, or are we freeze framing from our last map previous to this one and going forward? What's your advisement, council?
As council, I think, as Nancy said, we're going to be talking about some of these going forward issues, and we'll get back to you formally on that to see how we can best accomplish it and keep you as commissioners, but in the right slots if it's necessary.
All right, thank you.
Okay, really quickly, let me just turn back to the public and see if there's anybody that has general public comments. This would be public comments that relate to anything other than what was on the agenda. Raise your hand if you do. Ms. Heller, Dr. Heller.
Chair Morrison, commissioners, I really just wanted to thank you again. As Dr. Phillips and others have said, you worked really hard for a really long time under extraordinary circumstances, and most people would not have hung in there. So I really want to express my appreciation for the effort, the energy, the endurance, and the ability to work well together over time. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate that. And I think, coming from somebody who probably was with us the whole time, you're stuck in there with us as well, as did most of the folks that are actually on the call today. I see a hand up from Dr. Murdy.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to echo the gratitude and the appreciation for all of your pioneering work. And as we keep hearing tonight, it was really pioneering and unprecedented. And I would like to think that because 2030 will not be the very first time that there is a Citizens Independent Redistricting Commission, that some of the improvements and perhaps gaps will organically evolve and fill themselves, because it won't be the first time that this work is being done. So thank you again.
Who knows? Maybe the 2030 folks will be doing all of this in virtual reality. Who knows what 2030 will look like, right? I think that's, folks, all we've got, unless there's anything else from any of the commissioners for good of the order. If not, we would take a motion to adjourn.
So motion.
I second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Dr. Phillips, we're gonna break protocol and just say, if you all in favor, raise your hand. Wave at the camera. I think that covers us for tonight. Folks, thank you. It's been an honor, and it's been a lot of fun working with you all, even when we stayed way too late at night. But hope everybody has a great evening, and we look forward to crossing paths again in the future. We're adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Good
Bye
night.
all.
Take care.
Bye.